Now, I am anything but a rampant fan of core class. Don't get me wrong, some of the little guys are neat, but I feel like the character has to fit the size class. That's just the way my collection goes. However, when there is a core class offering that's up and coming that I want, I tend to get pretty excited about it. Case in point, Studio Series 86 Exo-suit Spike. I had certain ideas, certain hopes for this guy. Did he live up to them? Well, we're about to find out when we dive into this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, let my baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And this is the packaging for Exo-suit Spike. I had high hopes because I have the MP, as imperfect as that thing is. And it's pretty darn imperfect. Not gonna lie, can't stand it. But I thought that there were things here that had potential to be done way better. Not the head. I mean, not the head. We all know that there's the skin flap eye covers and the like gapeless hole in the back of his skull. So I wasn't a fan of that, and I did some work on it. Still not perfect, I still have some more to do, but it was good enough for a review. Other than that, from the neck down, how does this guy fare? Well, we're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this lad. Now, yours truly is not usually a core class guy. Mostly because I don't see the point in having Optimus Prime, Megatron, Starscream, and other mainline characters, I guess, in such diminutive statuses. I'm not a Legends collector, and I understand that some people get them to scale with bigger bots or whatever. And you gotta do whatever suits your collection. For me, and the way I gear my collection, there's only kind of cherry-picked offerings in the core class price point that makes sense to me. This being one of them. My plan, as soon as I saw this, was, hey, it's probably going to be a bit smaller than the MP version, so maybe I can get this and use it as Daniel and use the MP version as Spike, because it's a touch bigger. Did that work out? Well, we're going to see, but before we look at him, we have to look at the packaging first. And the packaging is the packaging. We have some nice artwork of Spike up here, and look at that, he has eyes and eyebrows and a face. He's not just this like skin flap orb that's covering his expressionless visage. And I see his face, and all I can think of is that Dick Tracy character, blank, No Face. Is that what it was called? No Face? It might have just been called No Face, right? I didn't like it, so I had to put eyes and eyebrows on this guy. We'll talk about how I did that in a little bit. Again, we have a bit of artwork over there, bit of artwork over there. We have the images on the back. By the way, the back of his head is also hollow. I filled it in and painted all the hair. So the brown I use is just slightly darker than what it is here. So if you see the head and you're like, hey, that looks slightly different, it's because I did a bit of work with it. We have instructions. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely did not use them at all. I just fiddled with this guy until I figured something out. But this is actually done pretty well. If you do want instructions, using instructions, these aren't too bad. Let's talk about the man of the hour. Actually a man, because this guy's human. For the sake of the review, though, I'm going to call his alt mode his vehicle mode, and I'm going to call this his robot mode, just because it's too difficult to come up with what it actually is. So in his Exo-suit's robot mode, a couple of things worth noting. He comes with two blast effects that fit on very tightly, which is actually very nice. In this mode, they can be used as blasters, and you can see that it goes on a little nub right there. If we take this off, then this whole section can turn around, and here is his blue hand, right? So you kind of put his hand away to give him arm blasters. In package, his arm is like this. Initially, I put this tire forward and brought this arm down, and then I turned it at the bicep and brought the arm forward. However, that's incorrect. What you're supposed to do is actually have that tire go to the back and then bring the arm down and forward. That makes much more sense. That seems far more accurate. In terms of being accurate, how accurate is the look of this guy? Well, starting from the feet and working our way up, there should be little details down on the feet. I want to say red. Coming up, the blue on the shin, the knee, and the thigh is correct. The white on torso is correct, along with the yellow and red highlights on the torso. The white on the side of the dome helmet is correct, even though the MP doesn't have the white on the side of the dome helmet. The shoulders should be, well, non-existent really, because the tubes of the biceps really kind of go into the shoulders. But we'll say the shoulders and the bicep, yeah, it should be blue. The blue coming down here on the forearm, that's not quite right. The whole white section should be the thing. But I accept it. I buy it for what it is. And I think that's about it. So for look for the guy, it's pretty darn accurate. Too bad he didn't have a face. Too bad the back of his head was hollow. Talk about no brains, right? I think stock in a package, it's about a 7. I think with the bit of extra work I did to the head, I think that this is about a 9, honestly. Maybe 8.5. Let's say 8.5. It's pretty darn good. Like, I like that better than the MP version. Yes, the MP version is slightly taller. No, I can't use the MP as Spike and the 86 as Daniel, because the face sculpt, surprisingly, of the 86 actually looks significantly older than the boyish face sculpt of the MP. So the MP will have to be Daniel, and the 86 will have to be Spike. I do find it funny though that the head on the MP is smaller than the head on the 86, and I don't know if I think the proportions of the MP are better or the proportions of the 86 are better. That being said, when I look at the 86 now, with the head being what it is, I can't unsee that it looks too big to me, and it almost looks slightly super deformed. Here they are next to KBB's Hornet's Agent version of Bumblebee. Yeah, this makes sense to me. I like this, as well as the Legends class wheelie from Combiner Wars, Titan's Return, Power of the Pro. I don't know which one this came out in. I did a bunch of custom work on him because I didn't want to get the Takara one. I don't usually like the tolerances on Takara's products. Case in point, the tolerances on this are awful, especially for the arms. So I think again though this scale works well. If we want to stick with Studio Series 86, here is the Bumblebee, or the wheelie that came with Grimlock. Yes, there are custom printed legs on him. I think this is too small, but of course I'd be completely remiss if I did not include the terrible, awful hunk of garbage waste of plastic that was the Daniel that came with the other Dinobot, Slug or Slag or whatever name you prefer to use for him in your Dinobot lineup. This is garbage. This is junk and never should have existed, so we're going to get rid of it. So with an 8.5 for the look, what about the articulation? Well, this piece goes left and right. There's a tab here on the back for moving the head. By the way, if you want to paint eyes or do any of the work on the back of the head like I did, in between the thrusters here, there's one little screw. Take it out and you basically have like the inside of a traditional 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe, where the two arms are on mushroom pegs, the head is on a mushroom peg, the two halves of the body just come apart. And when you take them apart, you can just pop this piece out, this dome comes off, and then you can just hold the mushroom peg that encapsulates the head and the like collar of his shirt in your hand and paint away. I used a toothpick and a bristle of a toothbrush, and I still kind of struggle with doing the eyes, right? There's a bit more white there than I'd like. I'll have to work on it a bit more, but you get the idea. It's better than the skin flaps that covered where his eyes should be. Articulation wise, like I said, the head can do left and right because of that thing. The dome can move all the way around. The arms can't go all the way around, but for going forward and back, like, you're gonna get all that you really need, I think. Out to the side, way up. We have a bicep swivel. We have an arm that, like an elbow that's really deep and can actually go across the body. But when it straightens out, like, I think that's good enough. This piece can rotate all the way around if that suits your fancy for arm blasters. There's no waist, that's a bit of a bummer. No ankle, that's a bit of a bummer. No wrist, that's a bit of a bummer. But again, for core class, what do you expect? Legs forward, legs back. Because there's a ball joint at the knee, we have a knee to 90 degrees, but we also have a swivel. It's not really a swivel. He stands quite well, honestly. Wrist would be nice, waist would be nice, ankle would be nice. But again, this is core class, what do you want? I can forgive the wrist, I can forgive the ankle easily enough for this size. I think a waist could have been worked in here. It's too bad that it wasn't, but it is what it is. I'm going to say it again. Just as the look is about an 8.5, I think this is about an 8.5 for the articulation. It's great. It's infinitely better than the garbage MP. I don't get MP collectors. Bless your heart, because you guys get a lot of stuff that has pretty terrible QC. I digress. I spent $30 on the MPB that came with Spike. That's all it was worth. If I had paid any more than $30 for that B or this Spike, I would have been terribly, terribly disappointed. 8.5, 8.5. What about the transformation for the guy? Now, I'll admit this. The MP alt mode looks better than this alt mode. But I can forgive the alt mode because it's kind of a weird looking thing anyway. I'm more concerned that the robot mode looked accurate and more importantly, functioned, because this doesn't function that great. What about the transformation? Well, let's do it. We turn this right away sideways because the two white pieces should be top and bottom for the alt mode. Then we can bring the legs all the way forward. I'm going to just get these arms up and out of the way right now. Legs all the way forward. We turn at the knee and turn at the knee. You'll notice that on the back of the leg here we have a hinge where this bends up, and we have a hinge where this bends up, and then we put the legs together. Dandy. Then we get to the arms, and we want to have the tires facing down and the tires facing down. Now I'm not going to lie, I always sort of struggle a bit with the arms because I mess them up. But basically you want the tire straight down. Then you're going to take the arm and you're going to bring it back here, and then you're going to turn it the bicep swivel, and you're going to bring it up and it fits in just fine, and then you're going to rotate this piece around. Actually did it there. Go me! Over here, again, I'll point it out. It doesn't really matter the order you do it in. If you want, you can turn that like that, then bring it back, then bring that piece up, and then turn this around. It doesn't seem like these tires here necessarily like affix into position, but that is basically how you do it. Then you want to take your blast effect and put it on there as a thruster, and your other blast effect and put it on there as a thruster, and really, in essence, in the end, boom, here you have Spike in his alt mode, vehicle mode, whatever you want to call it. And here we have both boys. Look, this looks more like the traditional alt mode than this does. The transformation here isn't fun because the dome pops off, the forearms pop off as you're trying to maneuver things. This rolls fine. This rolls fine. This is significantly cheaper. And you know what? It functions significantly better. I'm going to say the transformation's a hoot. I had a blast with it. I love all of the movement of the arms. I wish the legs did a little bit more. I'm going to say the transformation's a solid 9 for the Studio Series 86 lad. We had an 8.5 and an 8.5 and now a 9. Studio Series 86 is a solid 8.75. Maybe it's even a 9. It's a tremendous offering. But I can understand why fans detest the head, because they should have put a face on it. It should have been filled in. Other than that, I think that the Studio Series 86 Exo-suit Spike is, at least as of right now, the best version of an exosuit human that we have ever gotten. Infinitely better than the little Linead that was the head of RC. Infinitely better than the MP. Infinitely better than the third-party offerings. It is good. Could it be better? Sure. But for such a weird design as the exosuits were, I think the Studio Series 86 really knocks it out of the ballpark. And here we are, and here he is. So what is it that I don't like about this? I wish he had a waist. I mean, wrist and ankle would be nice, but on a core class, I mean, I understand not having it. But a waist would have been clever. I wish the legs did a little something more for the transformation. It's neat, though, how you do have to turn them around and whatnot. Maybe if the toes folded up, I'd be happier. I don't know. I do like, though, that you do have to do something with the legs. I love the transformation of the arms. I think that the articulation is second to none for the size class. And I really think that for the peculiar odd design that an exosuit is, that you really wouldn't be able to ask much better for the articulation. For the look, I wish they had painted a face on it so I didn't have to put eyes and eyebrows on it myself. But I can't use this as Daniel because the head sculpt does look significantly older than I expected it would. And the MP looks significantly younger. Guess the taller guy with the bigger suit is going to have to be Daniel. And his dad, I don't know, he took the first test copy of an exosuit. It was a bit smaller, a little bit cramped, but it functioned really, really well. The incorporation of blast effects, we haven't seen it in a while, but I like it. I think that this, despite its imperfections, got a lot more wins than losses. And I think in terms of any other kind of offering that's out there right now for an exosuit version of Spike or Daniel, I guess, I think this is bar none the best we have going as of this recording in 2022. Love the guy. Had to do a bit of work with the face, but other than that, love the guy. Neck down is perfect, neck up, needed some work. Articulation is great, transformation is great. Accuracy to the animation, mostly great. Let me know what you think about Studio Series 86 Spike. I know a lot of people have had a lot of issues with him. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, man. Stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the video.